Disclaimer. All statements within this podcast consist of our own opinions and in no way should be taken as medical advice, as we are not medical professionals. All resources will be stated. We always encourage you to do your own research and to consult your own doctor or medical professional before attempting anything.
Hey guys, for the next few episodes, we're going to go into a bit of a series. So just so you guys are aware, the next few episodes will all be connected and sharing virtually the same topic. Have fun and enjoy, guys!
Welcome back to Random Witchcraft with your host, Vix.
And Tally, word up, people.
Welcome back to our fun little series of representations of witchcraft in media.
Last week, we covered music.
This week, we are covering our lovely little TV shows.
Well, yes. Where do we start, though?
Oh,
Because there's plenty.
So many. Let's start with Grimm, with the Hexen Beast.
Particularly, I've never seen the show, but I've heard it was a really good show.
The show was centered around a hunter and going after a plethora of different types of mythical creatures. There was werewolves, witches, vampires, demons.
So a different spin-off on another popular show.
Which one?
Supernatural.
Predates Supernatural.
So basically,
It was I believe, a Sci-Fi Channel show.
It's not really a spin-off. I should say a different take on a different view. Because most shows do have the same synopsis of things.
Well, especially with that one, it did dabble more into like Germanic time frame. Well,
True.
not time frame, but like the viewpoint of most of them had the traditional names for them in German, like the Hexen Beast.
True. And like Supernatural really did deal with a lot more on the demon side with angels, kind of the whole God versus hell type deal, but you did get into the witchcraft stuff because of the fact that most of the things that they did were either spells to trap or to eliminate or send back to hell.
Yeah.
So, again, a lot of the shows, good shows on their own and wonderful, they have their fan base. But again, they intertwine a lot with the same plot line and what's going on.
Yes, but no. Especially
Like I said,
with Grimm, it was more of like a Sci-Fi Channel type show, where Supernatural is definitely like Warner Brothers, CW.
but it doesn't matter on the company that's doing it. I'm talking about the plot synopsis of it. I'm talking about the fact that both of them go out and fight demons using magical things.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at. It's not the fact that, one company makes it and the other company makes it. No, it's the fact of the matter that it's all intertwined magically because demons, whether it be demons, fae, godlike deities, magical creatures like Wendigo, it all intertwines. It's all magical.
Very fantasy. Dark fantasy type shows. It's pretty much what they are.
Yeah, but making that statement goes, well, witchcraft is fantasy then.
And
And
depending on how it's depicted, it is fall under the fantasy genre when it comes to in the media.
yes, it is. But some of it's depicted as horror.
Very much so. Where, yeah, supernatural and grim would fit under the horror also. And then you also have like an honorable mention of True Blood. Not necessarily witches, but
Well, again,
magical
Supernatural would be an honorable mention too, because frankly, the only witch in Supernatural is in the later part of the series, in the later shows, which is Crown's mother. Crown. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was the only witch on there. And the fact that True Blood, in later on the seasons, you end up finding out that Suki is Fae. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Whoever has it. My bad. I think we need to put that in the beginning.
And speaking of like darker horror things depicting witches, American Horror Story.
But I love the way it was. I love the way that they ended up just making it to where it is very dark at times, depending on who you're working with, what are you doing, how.
Yeah, it definitely did. When it comes to like the witchcraft side and practitioners, it mostly in like Coven and Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Which tying them the different seasons in together is a little confusing.
A little confusing if you're not paying attention to the small details. But if you're paying attention to all the details and every little thing, it developed you, and you were like sitting there at the edge of your seat going, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. And then lesser well known of a series was October Faction.
True.
Which the premise of the show is you have demon hunters, and the biggest bad of the show end up being a witch. Which, not giving spoilers on that one because I know you haven't seen it, but I have. Love the show. It was very interesting. But yeah, the big bad ended up being a witch.
The bad, the one besides Coven, is the season that had Lady Gaga in it.
And I'm still trying to figure out if that was like vampirism or what. I was a little confused.
It was vampirism.
And then you have other like darkly types of shows.
True.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Which we grew up on.
Very much so.
Who didn't like Angel?
I was all about Willow. Alison Hannigan played that part way too well. And Dark Willow was when she went a little crazy.
Yeah, I forgot about Willow.
And almost destroyed the world. It's okay. They killed her lover.
I would have done the same.
But it did kind of depict of a woman scorned, so she's going to destroy the world. Which...
Yeah. Like, tell me, have you never thought about one time that you were like, I just want to burn the world because they...
I think everybody, whether they're magically inclined or not, wants to burn down the world at one point or another in their lives.
Yeah.
It's a part of being human.
Nice segue there, honey.
And, of course, we talk about Buffy, during around the same time, you have Charmed, the original Charmed,
Honey,
which I have seen every single episode.
I will be Cole Turner's source wife. Just, yes, baby.
I didn't include Angel into this because I don't remember any witches represented in Angel.
But still, again, where we go, honorable mention on Supernatural and True Blood. Angel is another honorable mention. It's still part of the magical community, a magical representation.
Very true. And with Charmed, that one played out very interestingly.
Now, I know that I told you just recently how they're coming back. Not the new Charm, the new revamped one, but with, Prue, Piper, and Paige.
Yeah, that stems around the drama behind the scenes.
Yes, but they are coming back with that. So a lot of people are still wondering, are we going to see Wyatt and Chris much older?
Chris was hot.
Oh, yes, indeed.
But I've heard about the Charmed got a lot of shit, that you had the uber religious that saying it was too witchy, that it was gonna demonize our children, and then you had the witchy community saying it's not witchy enough.
And you know what? Again, we've always stated
happy.
You can't make everybody happy, but let's be honest on the whole fact why it wasn't too witchy. It wasn't too witchy because witchcraft is all you. You have to make your own craft.
And that was... It's good for a TV show. It was entertaining, which...
Yes, but it also
majority
gave
of
that...
the ones on this list are there for entertainment.
But it also gave the fact of the matter that it did ended up going true with the fact that witchcraft is your craft.
Yeah, it is what you make of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have our fun little other series. Where you can get into the Vampire Diaries.
Yes, you had Bonnie, which was kick-ass witch.
Well.
And then Grams. Her grandmother who taught her who...
Oh, yeah. And also goes along with the originals and legacies.
Yeah.
The spin-offs.
Yet they still intertwined very well.
They actually did, and where Vampire Diaries was more of the teenage, in high school.
But it wasn't really about the teenage and high school. It was the fact that it was the whole to Klaus ending up breaking the curse that his mother put on him. With the fact that Elena Salvatore was the doppelganger.
That is a different way of putting it, yes.
It wasn't about teenage love. It was about the fact of how they spinned it, and it was still witchy. The mother was a witch. She never turned vampire. She turned her children into vampires.
And she was immortal.
They
were the originals, which is the premise of the originals.
The originals.
Which I believe the pilot episode of the originals is in one of the episodes of season 6 of Vampire Diaries.
Yes.
And then you have Legacies that's after, which
is all the fact of the matter that
a hybrid of vampire, werewolf, witch.
A tribid is what they call it. You really need to watch that show from beginning to end.
Yes, I do.
Not that I've watched Vampire Diaries originals or legacies like 5 or 6 times. No, me never.
And then we have our fun little Penny Dreadful, which is based off the Penny Dreadfuls from the 1800s in Europe, where you paid a penny and you get a scary story.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know they did a second rendition of it that
they did
had
a
nothing
second
to do with
season.
the first one, and yeah, it was definitely a very captivating show.
Right now, the one show that you have caught up to, but I'm still on episode 2, are the Mayfair Witches.
That is Anne Rice, one of her best series. Vampire Chronicles being
Number 1.
up there, which they also tie together, and Anne Rice,
Hats off to you.
the late great Anne Rice, and Stan Rice, and Christopher Rice.
The immortal Anne Rice.
Which bases with definitely the New Orleans culture.
Mm-hmm.
And very well written. That family is the best, one of the best at
Yes.
their writing styles.
Fully agree.
Which Vampire Chronicles, that's would be an exhaustive conversation that would be way too long. But the Mayfair Witches, I definitely do like how they have started that one off.
Oh, well, you saw me. We watched the first episode together, and I was just glued to the television, not even blinking, where I had to put eye drops afterwards. Because my eyes were dry.
Definitely not doing spoilers on that one. You have to watch it.
Yes. Then we got just a random one. This was done by the CW. The Secret Circle.
Which I really don't know much about.
I watched it fully. I was one of the ones that was fully invested in this one, and I wanted a second season because they left it on a very big cliffhanger. Now, there was talk before that the CW was selling the rights to Secret Circle to Netflix, but it never happened. Now, the Secret Circle involves a teen girl who loses her mother in a fire, moves in with family members in their old hometown, and discovers she's a witch. And amongst this, a coven tries to recruit her, which is a coven that the family was already a part of, but they did not have her power.
Why is it they're always trying to get someone's power?
Because that's just my opinion. In my opinion, I'm stating this, and if y'all don't like me, send me a message on our Gmail. But everybody wants power. Regardless if you say you don't want it, you don't need it, everybody wants power. Most people end up getting drunk off power. And that's where we have the problem. It's good to have power. It's good to use your power for what you need it. But in the end, it's every action has a reaction. You reap what you sow, honey.
And then you have like these series that are more action-packed. Like Fort Salem.
Oh, yes. A part of me, when we started to watch that, I really wanted to be like, I want to do that. I want to end up, because we've stated it before, words are the power. Now imagine using your voice to shove somebody way across the way.
Yeah, just the way that they pretty much doing the witches as tools of war.
Weaponizing us.
Which is very interesting.
Now imagine if that were to happen.
Yeah, when they get past the fact of trying to burn us at the stake, witch hunts.
Or drown us.
Yeah, more people did drown. The burn at the stake was more in Scotland than northern UK.
Yeah.
And you really didn't have much of
Or if
that
they didn't
in
try
Ireland.
drowning us, they put heavy rocks on you. And if you, survived, you were a witch. Because you, used your mind to, push away the rocks from crushing you.
That is also a very bad way of getting stoned.
No pun intended.
All the pun intended on that one.
Was that a dig at me?
It is now.
You know what? That's it, mister. We'll have words later.
Yeah, Salem, you probably know more about than I do.
Salem, again, was another show that basically the head of the coven had to be involved with the preacher of the town, which was the mayor. And the mayor ended up killing her lover. So she vowed, yes, I'll be your wife, but she was going to destroy Salem, along with the devil, who was her true husband.
Okay, let's get into more of the lighthearted side of witchcraft in media, TV.
All right.
The Wizards of Waverly Place.
Adorable.
Disney.
Adorable. Honestly.
Gave some of those kids a very good start in their careers.
Yeah.
That was Selena Gomez, right?
Yes, Selena Gomez.
Sometimes I get confused on which ones are which.
Yes, she was at the end of the show. Sorry for the spoilers, but I'm sure y'all seen it. She became the family wizard. Justin was a teacher at the, wizarding school. And the youngest one, I forget his name.
Oh. His real name is Jake something.
Yeah. He ends up taking over the family business, the sandwich shop.
I can see that.
And in the movie, the first movie they had, because they did make... Oh, wait. That would be for the next one.
Yeah.
My bad.
And we will move on from there. To...
The other one was probably Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes, that is a good start.
Now, there's
the original.
The original one with Melissa Joan Hart. Miss Clarissa Explains It All.
Which also, the start of that also goes to the
Archie Comics.
Next episode of the movie.
Yes. I was thinking, you were transitioning from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the nice, sunshiny one, to the Archie Comics version of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
That is also a whole side thing, too, where the Chilling Adventures is a separate comic book.
Yes.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was the original with Archie Comics.
Yes, but
which is a spin-off of the Archie Comics, and then you also have the Chilling Adventures, which is kind of a spin-off of Riverdale,
Mm-hmm.
where with the Chilling Adventures, the original was very cute and innocent and very
But
Disney.
it gives you not very Disney. It gives you both sides of the spectrum on a witch.
It was ABC Family.
Well, yeah, Disney, but
But the Chilling Adventures gives it more of the darker, and they have representations of pretty much satanic worship, and then later on going into the Mother of Witches, Hecate,
mm-hmm.
which did bring more of a resurgence into deities that I've noticed.
Yeah. But again, where I'm getting at is that it gives you both sides of the spectrum of witchcraft. Where you can be light and do things as you want, as you may, but there is that side of baneful and dark.
And then you also, the next lighthearted, The Good Witch, which in some ways does have more of a, it's very lighthearted and more
Kitschy romance.
and more like Wicca type of,
Yes.
like light worker,
Mm-hmm.
which not everybody falls into that category.
Yeah. We definitely don't fall into that category.
And you also have like The Witches of East End, which is a cult type classic that some may or may not know of. It didn't last all that long.
It didn't.
But it also did touch upon like more of like mythology and like
Mm-hmm. But the TV show,
deities.
the TV show that came from it was originally from the movie.
The Witches of East End?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
no, sorry.
That's Witches of Eastwick. Witches of East End was a series, I believe, a Canadian series.
From our good old Canadians.
Yeah. They do make some really good shows that end up being very
They make
popular.
awesome maple syrup. I'm sorry.
And then on the very, well, Witches of East End was a bit darker and like kill people type, like cats and
Sacrificial?
Sacrificing, yes. But then you have the ultimate innocent and best representation that brought a lot of people into witchcraft, Bewitched.
Oh, everyone just tried to wiggle their nose as soon as you said that.
Yeah, that is one group of muscles that is very difficult to learn how to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to wiggle the nose without wiggling the lip is...
Yeah. Or like the honorable mention, everyone went around like being like, I dream a genie.
Yeah. Crossing the arms and bowing the head.
Yeah. Blink.
But Bewitched did actually help the city of Salem, Massachusetts.
It
with
did.
Getting their tourism.
It did. But I'm still kind of, well, what I saw in the news of someone defacing the statue.
Miss Elizabeth Montgomery.
Mm-hmm. That was rude.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess during the show's run back in the 60s, the soundstage that they were filming in caught fire, and while they were building, they filmed on location in Salem, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much gave a resurgence of people's interest in the town of Salem, Massachusetts, and the witch trials, and they now have a very large statue in downtown of Salem, Massachusetts. which I will go to see and take pictures of eventually when I
You
can.
will? Like what? You just leaving me at home?
If you're a good girl, I'll take you with.
Oh, you can bite me.
And then we have our newest and really good rendition of witchcraft in modern media of TV. Streaming, but still TV. Wednesday.
The quintessential perfect person. I mean, what?
The Goo Goo Muck.
Yes. Yes.
Don't fully agree with them taking the song out for the dance and adding Lady Gaga, but I digress.
That was a whole TikTok thing. Let's be honest. They didn't take it down.
I'm wondering why they didn't use the actual song.
On TikTok?
Yeah,
Because not a lot of people like the Cramps.
but they're amazing.
They didn't understand it. They didn't understand the whole why they chose that song for that scene, which worked perfectly.
Yeah,
And the fact that Jenny was like, I didn't even choreograph this like I was supposed to. I just went off the fly.
yeah, a lot of young people don't necessarily look into what comes from before, especially within like the goth and punk culture.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on a tangent about this.
Wait, you want to go on a tangent and not me going into a tangent? It's a miracle, people.
Maybe that tangent will be had on a whole different episode, maybe a bonus episode. If you want to hear that bonus episode, send us a message and tell me about it. Get your viewpoint and see if y'all out there actually want to hear that.
True, we could do that. But then that means if you go on a tangent, you know I like to rebuttal you all the time.
This one might actually be something that you can't rebuttal on.
Depending. Remember, we've been friends for so long. And when you think I'm not listening about certain things about music, I end up surprising you and I do listen.
I know I'm talking about the controversies about the newer stuff.
Are you sure?
Like the SoundCloud
Are
rap.
you sure?
And goths being called gatekeepers. Yeah.
Everybody has gatekeepers. Let's freaking be honest about that.
Well,
our own witchcraft community has gatekeepers. Goth has gatekeepers. Every subgenre to everything. There's someone that always thinks they know more and they're the master of. Again, we've stated this before. Everything is ever revolving and moving and...
Okay, let's get back on topic. Got a couple honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Fate, the Wink Saga.
Not in my opinion, and I told you this. They did a wonderful job Americanizing it. Yes, the Winx Club is originally an Italian kids show. And for me, the human version didn't do it for me. And that is all I'll say on that.
And you also have like the Sandman, which
yeah.
kind of loosely, but kind of not loosely based on different deities, Greek Roman deities.
Yeah.
Because I know Hypnos is mentioned and being the son of Nyx.
But that's another topic for a future one that we'll get into, because we will be getting into deities of all around the world.
And two that kind of do correlate, where you have Camelot and Merlin.
We can't really talk about, like, you cannot leave these out of the whole list, not because of the simple fact of, you go back into witchcraft, and where does it all start at? The biggest mention of witchcraft, Merlin.
Yeah. He was a wizard and may or may not been an actual person. Nobody really knows. He could be...
He could be the ether.
Could be within mythology. Could be a deity. Could be... Nobody really knows where that story came about.
But yet, it is one of the most...
widespread and well-known...
folktale.
Yeah.
Because in every culture, there is somewhat a representation of Merlin.
And then you have, like, Hex, Eastwick, the Order. Yeah, there's quite a few that are honorable mentions.
If we missed a witchy type show, email us or leave us a message on Anchor. And if you leave us a voice message, you may end up hearing it on here. And we will answer back.
And if you do send us a voice message and you want it on air, we can always include it in a future episode. If you don't want it put in there, just say so and we'll leave it out. Well, I think we've used up all of what we could talk about for this one. So
we'll see you on the next one, which will be movies.
And always remember, express those witchy vibes.
Did we just get a little bit of Madonna here?
No Madonna. That would have been the last episode.
Well, never mind.
We'll see you next time.
Next time, guys.
For Random Witchcraft with Vix and Callie.
Au revoir.
Bye. Hey, just one last thing before we sign off for the day. If you would like to reach out to us, you can email us at randomwitchcraft@gmail.com. And now you can send us voice messages through Anchor. If you would like to support this podcast for future podcasts and also other future endeavors, click the links below. That is completely optional and greatly appreciated. Thank you.